drips and drips away. Days burn, disintegrate. Years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
Dick Tracy was a tough, smart police detective created by Chester Gould. He made his debut in 1931 in newspaper comic strips. Starting in the 1930s through the 1970s, Dick Tracy would also go on to star in radio shows, animated television shows, live-action television shows, and live-action movie serials. But nothing would compare to 1990. In 1990, Warren Beatty, who was a huge Dick Tracy fan, would produce, direct, and star in a big-budget, live-action Dick Tracy movie, supported by an all-star cast. In an attempt to recreate the phenomenon that was Batmania the year before, the promotion for Dick Tracy was huge. You could say they took a big yellow paintbrush and painted the summer of 1990. With posters, cross-promotions, and merchandise, Dick Tracy was everywhere. And a big part of that promotion was, of course, an action figure line. In the summer of 1990, Playmates would release the Dick Tracy action figure line. Now, Playmates having success over the last few years doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line, they decided to release the Dick Tracy figures in a similar scale and style to the Ninja Turtles, as opposed to a more conventional action figure style. Say what you will about these action figures, they were rock solid, and you either loved them or you hated them. Myself, I loved them, and to this day, I still can't pass up a cheap Dick Tracy figure when I see one in a bin. An interesting aside about this action figure line, Dick Tracy mows down his villains with reckless abandon in this movie, so as a child, every action figure you're playing with after you see the movie is probably already dead. Due to the style and scale of these action figures, Dick Tracy was released in a black vest and pants, as opposed to his yellow trench coat. The way he was depicted in the action figures was only in one scene of the movie. Recently, while watching a video from the Retro Blasting channel, Michael French talked about his childhood Dick Tracy figures and how his mother sewed him trench coats for Sam Ketchum and Dick Tracy to give them a more movie-accurate look. I love this idea, and I love the way they look. So here today, we're going to try and reverse engineer that and come up with a way to make our own trench coat for Dick Tracy figures.
There's the phone. Be my guest.
So here we have our Dick Tracy figure who needs a trench coat, and we're going to make him one. So we printed off our Dick Tracy trench coat pattern. You can find it on our Facebook page and download it there. And we just printed it off onto regular paper, and we're going to cut out the three main sections of it so we can transfer it onto material.
Once upon a time I had plenty of nothing, which was fine with me because I had rhythm, music, love.
Alright, so we have our three main pieces here. We have our trench coat, main body, we have the sleeves, and we have the belt. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape those down to our material so we can cut out the material in these shapes exactly. So let's get these taped down.
Plenty, which is fine with me because I still got love, I still got rhythm, but look at what I got to go with them. Who could ask for anything more, I hear you query? Who could ask for anything more? Well, let me tell you, dearie.
All right, now we're going to cut out around the material. The tape on the paper gives it a nice firm base so that you can cut it nice and straight. Cutting material can be hard to cut straight, but this tape trick works really, really well.
You with what I got, I want more. Count your blessings, 1, 2, 3. I just hate keeping score.
Okay, so first we're going to take our sleeve piece. It looks like this. We're going to fold it in half like that, and we're going to sew the seam right along the edge here. Okay, so here is our sleeve pattern all sewn up there. So what we're going to do now is turn it inside out so this seam is on the inside. And the easiest way to do that, I find, is with a pencil or a pen, and you just kind of shove it through the hole in the middle here. Just take it and pull it through. Just like that. Just like that. And there we have, that's what the seam is going to look like now. And we have our sleeves done. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is we're going to fold this over, which will become his collar of his coat. I'm just going to run a stitch through this to hold it in place.
He does have Tess, but he won't bring her out of there. We gotta go in. Go in. Give me that tongue again, Sam.
Okay, so now we have our sleeves and we have the bulk of our trench coat. So we have our collar, so we're going to have our collar folded out. And what we're going to do here is with the opening of our sleeves, we're going to run them through the armholes like this. And like that. Beautiful. And I'm just going to put a couple stitches in here to put the back part onto the coat. Okay, as you can see, we've run a stitch across the top of our sleeve piece, and that's just to hold it in place, as the next part can be a little bit tricky. We're going to be running some stitches along the outside of our sleeves and attaching them to the coat as well. And there we are. We've run some simple stitching around the sleeve attaching to the coat. Now we're going to do the other side. And there you go. Both of our sleeves are attached to the coat with some very simple stitching. It's time to put this coat on our crime fighter. So once we have our coat on him, just lay him down and tie on his trench coat belt, which will bring the whole ensemble together. And there you go. Now if sewing is tricky for you, that's the result you can get from using hot glue instead. It's a little more tricky, but it gets a good result. And there you go. There's our quick fix. It's not a conventional fix, but we're fixing a mistake that Playmates made 30 years ago by giving this guy a trench coat. If you liked what we did today, if you want to see more of this, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. And let us know in the comments below what you want to see us fix up next year on GoFigure.
That's not greed, no indeed. That's just stocking the store. Gotta fill your cupboard, remember Mother Hubbard. Each possession you possess helps your spirits to soar. That's what's soothing about excess. Never settle for something less. Something's better than nothing, yes, but nothing's better than more, more, more. Except